like I'm some coonery type shit.
Go ahead.
But everything is about blackness. It's almost like this is a show about superheroes being black, and I've got black powers, black nigga, black power, black lightning, black. I just feel like
I get what you're saying.
I just
make it
don't
regular.
like. Just make this nigga be
a person.
Regular. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Niggas don't wake up like, morning, black morning. I'm gonna eat my black breakfast. Like it's not. I'm just.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like just make it regular.
Right.
And it's just like it kind of feel like shucking and jiving, and I don't feel like we should like. I don't want an anime with a black anime about black being black. That shit is whack.
Just tell a fucking story. Just tell a story
about just have black people be in the story.
Sean Johnson, Head Steph, Sade Renee.
Namaste.
You back tuned into another episode of the IC. Welcome back, motherfucker.
Don't be too precious, your boy Head Steph, and we back at it. You know where to follow me: Twitch, YouTube, do your things.
Hey listeners, it's your favorite millennial mystic. We want to hear from you. Share your ideas, your feedback, your perspectives. If you have a story, hit us up. You have an idea, a topic you want us to talk about, hit me up at asksaderenee@gmail.com. So today we do have an email from another listener.
Okay.
So they said,
y'all got it today.
Yeah, they rolling in.
I hear it.
Keep them coming.
All right.
So it says, I've been an avid listener of your podcast for some time now, and I've always find your discussions insightful and thought-provoking. I particularly enjoy you exploring various cultural touch points.
Okay.
Recently, I've been thinking a lot about representation in popular culture, particularly when it comes to Black superheroes. I grew up reading comic books, and while I love the characters Spider-Man and the X-Men, I never saw myself reflected in those characters. Now, as an adult, I'm thrilled to see more Black superheroes in mainstream media, from Black Panther to Luke Cage, but I also wonder if this representation goes far enough. Are these characters truly empowering or aspirational for Black audiences? Or are they simply tokenistic nods to diversity? I would love to hear your thoughts on this subject. Do you think the rise of Black superhero represents a genuine shift in popular culture, or is it just a passing trend? And how can we continue to push for meaningful representation in the stories we consume? Thank you for your time and for all the work you do on the podcast. Best regards.
Much love.
That's a real.
I like this one.
Yeah, that's real.
Me too.
Because like, what Black superheroes do we have? Let's start off with that.
Okay, so we got Luke Cage, we got Black Panther, we got the new Miles Morales. He's mixed Black and Puerto Rican. Storm. We got Blade. We got
Meteor Man, Blank Man.
Yeah, if you want to. So those are satirical ones. But like, so here's the thing.
But
like,
I fuck with them though.
I fuck with them heavy, bro. So like, here's the thing. I'm a nerd, but I also like, I'm multifaceted in cultures, right? You know what I'm saying? So the nerd culture, they would not count Blank Man, and
they wouldn't. But what about Bruce Leroy?
Hell no. They would not count that.
That's so funny.
So the thing is, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know how big the culture is, but as a subculture of Black anime and superhero nerds, there has been an outcry of wishing it was more melanated superheroes.
Right.
There's a lot.
There is a lot, but
it's like who's getting the
they're not in the forefront.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're always back players.
Who's getting their own movie?
Black Panther.
That's
Black Panther was
really
the first
about.
one, and I'm gonna tell you something. Like, I don't know how many people. I'm not tapped in with the entire culture because I lately have been just huge on anime, but I will say this, for me, what I've noticed in a lot of the Black superheroes that they do put out is like, it doesn't feel genuine.
Like you said, the tokenism of it. That's how Black Panther felt
like,
for me too.
Where the fuck y'all find this nigga? Like, this nigga was not from my hood. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, even like the storyline and like how certain things played out is kind of like, I'm not jacking that. Exactly. Like, nah, I don't want him representing me.
It feels disingenuous or unauthentic. Like, for instance, Luke Cage season 2 on Netflix. I was rocking with Luke Cage, even though he kind of felt a little foreign to like what I was used to as the average, like he's supposed to be like the average black dude, whatever. He just felt a little foreign. But where what completely lost me was season 2 when they had the Jamaican bad guy and there was no fucking Jamaicans casted.
Wait, a Jamaican bad guy?
Really?
There's a villain. The villain, I forgot his name. But the whole gang was supposed to be like a Jamaican crime group. And none of these niggas were Jamaican. They didn't cast them. They was a bunch of like African and Haitians playing as Jamaican. So it's like, one big man. I'm like, you must do you. I'm just like mad monstrous. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this, bro? Like, no Jamaican speaks like this. I don't even think I would be safe. I don't know. I'm almost to the point where I don't think they had one Jamaican. Not one. It was a bunch of them. Like, oh my God, can we? Like, we gotta find this. We gotta find the clips of this because I gotta show like how bad.
Like, I remember growing up, there was Static Shock, right?
Static Shock was lit.
Yeah, and like this in the Static Shock cartoon, they were talking about some real topics,
real shit, bro.
Yeah,
they were talking about like racism. Yeah. They're talking about just like being ostracized and like different like scenarios. You
that
remember when his best friend's father was racist?
Yeah.
Like they had an episode like that.
Yeah, so that episode was deep.
When like the email, he was talking about like a real representation,
right,
of like black characters. Like I can't really think about a character that's like relatable to me, at least growing up, was like Spawn.
Spawn was lit.
Oh, he's another one. He's not even a hero. He's like an anti-hero.
He's more like a vigilante though.
Yeah, he's an anti-hero.
He's an anti-hero.
That's what they call him when it's not like
he's not
like, I'm here to save the day.
Like Deadpool.
He was on some. He was like, nigga, I'm here to fuck shit up.
Right. And it's all right if I kill people. They don't have that code.
Yeah, he was killing everybody. Yeah,
I fuck with shit like that as a dope more because it's more realistic. But I will say a great representation. Not great, but I would say the closest thing it was great. I'm gonna give him his props. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
Black Panther. I loved Killmonger. If you understood what he was or what his lines were in that movie, that motherfucker he
made more sense.
He made the most sense out of any fucking superhero villain.
His anger.
He's like, y'all here in Wakanda with all these fortunes.
Y'all got us over here.
Y'all got us over here in the white man land suffering. This nigga was like, fuck that. I'm here.
Yeah, he was pissed.
Yeah, he was mad at everybody.
Right.
And I was like, that's the nigga.
And they made him the bad guy.
He was the bad guy. Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's what pissed me off.
It's not a good representation.
Exactly.
Anyway. It's not. But as far as like, so here's the thing. As far as like, this is where we get a lot of problems at. Some people want to be in fantasy. And when we talk about representation, it doesn't have to be always a topic of like political standpoints.
Right.
It's just, I want a nigga that look like me, that think like me. You know what I mean?
That move like me, talk like me, walk like me.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I am mad that they made Killmonger a villain, but I am so happy that he existed.
Okay.
In this room.
Right.
In this, you know what I mean? Like, that shows that somebody in this fucking writing process this film, he understands. He came from there. You know what I mean? Like, he moved like us. He talked like us. He had the swag like us. You know, I ain't gonna lie. Like, that drip, like, everybody wearing their dress to the side. I had my dress to the side when I seen that shit. That shit was fire. Like, ain't nobody doing that but a black dude that's just like, oh, this is drippy. He took culture, brought it into a film where it's like, it made it thrive. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's so much that we're missing from it. It's like how we talk about Jamaican comedy. And we think like, damn, bro, I wish a lot of Americans understood our accent or they brought it to America because there's so much like...
And not made fun of it.
Right. But like, if they saw what we saw as Jamaican comedy and Jamaican comedy, they would be fucking dying laughing.
That shit is hilarious.
You know, but it's an untapped source. I feel the same way with like superheroes. What the fuck is more badass than a nigga just be like, yo, my nigga, like, what? Like, you know how many niggas, like, how many fights you done seen, like, in real life and be like, imagine nigga be, like, what, nigga? What's up, nigga? That shit would be hard as hell, my nigga. Like, but we can't find it. I think
a lot of the characters are appeasement. It's like, here's your character, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Right. Like, when I see, like, as far as how I just see black people just on an everyday basis, like in just general situations, you see them in these situations that you could easily portray them as a superhero.
Yeah.
Like I think about like black boy athletes. like how fast they run, how high they jump, like how they move, even just like Black girls just existing in certain spaces. You could just see the power in it. And it's like, make those kind of superheroes. Like, and I think they are, like in WandaVision, there's a Black girl, she's a scientist. And she ends up having superpowers. I really didn't see too much of her, but it's just like, when I say I want to see somebody that looks like me, I don't want to just see her look like me and then act like some token, like some side character. Like I feel like it's appeasing. It's like, oh, let's make these let's make these characters and they look like them, but they typecast them.
Even in Black Panther, the main Black Panther superhero was almost like betatized. Like they made him like
passive.
Like who was the dude who had the army? What's his name?
What the fuck was his name?
M'Baku,
right?
I like him.
He was more of the alpha dominant alpha character. Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
I feel like they did that on purpose though, because you didn't want to have like, I ain't gonna lie, M'Baku was kind of guerrilla-ish, like, you know what I mean, brutish, right? I kind of feel like for the first time, if we're gonna really do it big, as like this is the Black superhero in his world, you want somebody a little bit more sophisticated, because it's like you got to understand, like they already have like this view of us as a brutish type of people sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, we resort to violence, we're just angry, black, and you know what I mean, loud. I like that he was. I don't know. I feel like Chadwick Boseman. What the fuck, Chadwick Boseman? What is wrong with me today? I'm like a little bit of this. That's all, folks. Anyways, Boseman. But I do feel like he pulled it off right. Like it. I don't think he was beta really. I feel like he was smooth. I feel like he was very soft spoken. Could have been a little bit more manly maybe in that aspect, but I feel like he wasn't like on some like on some like,
he wasn't passive.
He wasn't passive. He was like, I got you, brother. I fuck your ass up, nigga. I will beat your ass.
I will beat your ass, nigga. But the thing I don't like though, okay, all right, but like I use the analogy like hogging the armrest, right? Okay. Like we're forced to sit and exist amongst other people side by side, but who takes the armrest? You get what I'm saying? There's always a mental battle on. I'm putting my arm here. They ain't gonna say that. And you have them. You get what I'm saying? Fold like that. And when you think about hogging the armrest, look at Batman. Who got more money than Batman? Who you get what I'm saying? They have all these political ties and this and that, but DC lets you know that Batman pisses the farthest. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Iron Man. Money. Who got more money than Iron Man? Who's smarter than Iron Man? I mean, this nigga. If you talking about T'Challa, this nigga was probably richer than both of them combined.
He was.
Why don't they do the same thing with these Black characters?
I mean, this is why I feel like a lot of like also too, keep that thought, but you go to Superman, right? Okay, Superman, Clark Kent, he's a little more laid back, but they do that because nobody can possibly ever be stronger than Superman. Yeah, I get that. So here's what I'm gonna say. I feel like I agree with you, but I feel like these superheroes, this is where the problem resides. These superheroes that already existed, they're part of like not just white culture anymore. It's part of nerdom. And there's like a cult. This is probably like superheroes in general, I think have the biggest cult following that I've ever seen. Yeah. Like you have grown men that have Superman tattoos. And it's something that like, if you're going to make something coexist with that, they can't. So the nerd part of me is like, if they make something and just like that, Superman doesn't matter anymore because this black guy's powers is 10 times, you know what I mean? It's gonna cause a problem. Yes, we'll be happy for a moment or whatever. We'll be happy with the outcome of that. But then it's just like, okay, so then they're gonna lose on this side. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I feel like we don't need to obliterate one or negate one to make something new. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like the biggest problem, the reason why we don't get as much support in that area is because there's so much politics that get involved with this fantasy world. Now, for a long time, like there's a big issue. I think I talked about it on podcasts before. In video games, I like playing fantasy shit. I like playing like ninja shit. I like playing like I want to be a fucking ninja wizard type, whatever, Elden Rings, all types of shit. You know what I mean? But they don't got no black hairstyles. That shit pisses me off. So I'm sitting here with black skin, and my nigga got the motherfucking slick back like a young jock. Like my nigga, I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Like I got no black hairstyles in here. It's just a blatant like show that you had no intention.
We haven't gone there yet.
It's a piece.
No intention. But
we just don't stick these characters in here.
Exactly. So here's the so I get that being a problem, and that is a problem. But the thing is, like, then we started getting black hairstyles, and then it was like. How do I explain this without sounding stupid? When everything, so what's happening right now in the gaming industry is now like every protagonist that is coming out is a female protagonist. And then there's like, oh, now there's gay female protagonists and this, and it's like the whole story is no longer about the story anymore. It's about everything political.
And
so the title is losing its identity now because they're trying to appease everybody. Okay. And by doing that,
inclusivity is like takes away from the integrity of the actual story.
So it's like, imagine it's like, yo, I want you to sign to Interscope right now because you're a dope ass artist. But now, make a song for me. But this song, I don't want you to make a song talking about this because you got to be careful about these people, and you can't do this because of these people, and you can't do this, and you can't do this, and you can't do this. So it
weakens the art.
The art just ends up being chipped away.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are noticing that are not in these minority groups, and they're getting upset about it, which also leads to them pushing back against us. So I feel like it's a very difficult thing to do, and it's, mind you, I want my black superheroes. I want my black anime characters. I want my black video game characters. I'm not saying I don't, but it's tough to do when also trying to maintain the integrity of the creativity that you're producing.
I think Naruto does it pretty well.
Naruto does it. Could do it better.
It could do it better, but it does it pretty well. And so does Hunter x Hunter. Like there's a couple of animes that execute that perfectly. Even when you look at the stylistic of how they draw them. Yeah. Like
you could tell, like, that's a nigga. That's a nigga right there.
Yeah, you're like, ooh. Yeah. You kind of get a little excited when you see them. And it's like,
even if they're a villain, I'm like, that's my nigga though.
Right. Like I feel like there is a way to do inclusivity and create alternate storylines with powerful characters that represent us without ruining the integrity of the story and ruin the integrity of who we are as a people. Yeah. Like you can't just appease us by giving us a character and then we can't relate to it. Yeah. We just look like it.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's a thin line.
It's fucking it's a creative world. Like how can you not figure out how, like even like there's, people were upset about The Little Mermaid being black. And now there's Tinkerbell, they're turning her black. And they're like, we don't want regurgitated characters that are already another character and you're just making them black. Okay. And like, it's nice because it's empowering. Like as a little black girl, you don't really get to see yourself as a princess. And the only time you saw us as a princess is we were being taken over Pocahontas. Yeah. And then Tiana freaking kissing a frog. Like they turned that bitch into a frog. Yeah. Like you get like all these other characters, they're like fighting and they're just like doing all these powerful things. They're princesses and they're living these lavish lives and we get frogs.
That's what I was really trying to say, that there's always like shade being thrown almost.
Yeah.
Like
I get you.
I get what you're saying with like keeping an agenda while trying to execute a black character. Yeah. But like, why does it have to be an agenda?
Because niggas get canceled nowadays.
You know me, I don't believe in that.
You don't, but these niggas, when you put a couple billion in your pocket, you will. Like, if anything's gonna affect the dollar point, that's all that really matters to them niggas. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm not saying, I feel like in order for, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist any right now. I want to reiterate. I'm not saying what I'm about to say does not exist already. But what I feel like the answer is we have to start making our own because,
like we said before,
because here's the reason why. Don't nobody know you like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you could you could ask this nigga that know a few of us to find somebody to write us up.
But they can't.
But they can't encapsulate what we are.
Right.
So in the end of the day, it's gonna take a few black writers to get in there. And I'm not saying that like, oh, fuck this, like Disney and this, that, and the other. We need to start our own shit. I would like that as well, but I feel like we need to get some Disney.
It's like we got to stop begging for acceptance and an in them. And it's funny you say that because like I follow a lot of, I'm a nerd too. Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit more of I am a fantasy nerd. OD.
Yeah.
OD.
I fuck with it.
OD. But I read a lot.
Okay.
Like I like graphic novels. I love books, series. And I found like a whole bunch of people on TikTok that had started making characters and stories that actually represent us. I want to see that on the screen, but I think you got to start somewhere. So like there's this, I forget what it's called. This song, Sand something, and it's like the Egyptian or the ancient Kemetic people, and it's like all black stories, and they all have superpowers. It's so cool.
They coming out with the first Jamaican anime too.
Finally,
I'm trying to tell you, this is about to be.
And then they have like, there's a lot of black girl authors and black men authors who are doing like. Did you see when they turned Harry Potter into HBCU?
What?
That shit is so lit. Fire. This is what I'm saying. So they're making whole like.
Even I know that would be.
That would be like fucking.
They're like the style. Niggas, like they're coming out with all the like. They was like this is like the sororities and fraternities
that
and like
so
their styles, their hair, and I'm just like, this is it. This is what the fuck I want to see. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't really want to be a part of something that's already there.
Yeah.
Like build me a fucking world where we exist how we exist in a fantasy a fantasy concept.
That should sound
in a magical, like there's one guy, he makes series about African spirituality and kids growing into superpowers. That's like lit. With magical superpowers and just growing into them and not knowing they have them, and the stories coexist with our history. But see, like even that's powerful. Like,
so here's one thing.
Go ahead.
All right, so I don't know if anyone else seen Black Lightning.
I heard of it. I never watched it, but I've heard of it.
It's a cool show, but here's another aspect from a black man. Mm-hmm. The show, what I don't like about, I don't want to say I don't like it because it still feel like I'm some coonery type shit.
Go ahead.
But everything is about blackness. It's almost like this is a show about superheroes being black, and I've got black powers, black nigga, black powers, black lightning, black. I just feel like
I get what you're saying.
I just don't
regular.
Like just make this nigga be
a person.
Regular. Like, right. You know what I mean? Niggas don't wake up like, black morning. I'm gonna eat my black breakfast. Like it's not, I'm just, I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like just make it regular. Right. And it's just like, it kind of feel like shucking and jiving. And I don't feel like we should like, I don't want an anime with a black anime about black being black. That shit is whack.
Just
like,
tell a fucking story. Just tell a story about like.
Just have black people be in the story.
But that's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying with that, but it still has to be added in.
It has to be mentioned.
It has to be mentioned because it's part of the rose growing through the concrete.
I get that, but
like Superman's story is gonna be would be so much more intense if he actually came to this earth and he was being like ostracized and beat down on because the color of his skin.
They're actually making a black Superman.
But you get what I'm saying? I don't want that. It's part of the character's struggle, but not make every episode about it.
But so here's my thing. Mm-hmm. I think it should be something that happens. I don't even think it should be the side plot. I feel like I've seen enough slave movies.
Dead
Yeah.
ass.
I've seen enough fucking I gotta
Black
make it out the
trauma
hood movies.
Yes.
I've seen enough. I was wrongfully accused in jail. I've seen enough of them.
Yeah.
We know
Absolutely.
it exists now, and the people,
we're past that.
the
But that's what
people
I'm
that
saying.
don't care already have drawn the line in the sand. So that story is not a hidden story.
It's overtold.
Anymore. It's overtold.
Like enough. Build us worlds that we just belong in.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it. Just,
Exactly.
just
That's
tell a
it.
fucking story and just put black people in it.
Exactly.
Just have there's all these, like I said, you watch all these, a lot of even movies that are turned into live action, or books that are turned into movies. There's black characters that aren't black characters. They change the character.
Yeah.
Like, why?
And that's
You
just
gotta
all
say,
that,
like,
all that
you
is going to do is put negativity on us.
As a reader, reading a book and hearing them describe the skin tone and the hair texture of a character, and then they make a movie and the bitch white.
Yo, you know what it reminds me of?
Like, what do you mean?
You know what it reminds me of? You ever seen in high school, like, somebody that be trying to get you in, like, instigate problems? Kind of like, it's like...
Antagonistic?
It's a little bit of a manipulative type of thing. It's like, let's say you have a parent, right? And you and your sibling both go to school, and it's like, you got a B+, that's dope. You know, your brother got an A+ though.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like. Every time we we're gonna make the black version of.
Right,
It's just
exactly. It's like a participation
now you're making
award.
this motherfucker, these motherfuckers that love Superman hate us now. Not hate us, but like they're upset. They have a reason to be upset, and now it's creating friction between the two of us.
It becomes divisive.
Like for what? Like
Right.
Maybe a person that's not even racist, or maybe a person that's just like has no fucking like, or even if he's indifferent about anything that's going on in black culture, whatever that is. Even though I don't agree with that, but now he's like, now y'all niggas is fucking up my shit. Y'all fucking up what I like.
Why I disagree with that?
Why?
Because these stories are stories that are gonna be retold for generations and generations.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be 1,001 different Supermans. There's gonna be 1,001 different Jokers.
Yeah.
Look at the Suicide Squad Joker. Look at the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah.
They're all great Jokers.
All great Jokers.
When I saw Jared Leto, right? When I saw him play that Joker, I wasn't like, oh, he's messing up my shit. I was like, that's a cool version of Joker.
A lot of people didn't like that shit.
A lot of people didn't like it, but this story is gonna be retold when we're all gone.
The point of a story.
That's the point of fables in the story and like things like that. So what's the difference of changing the skin color? What's the difference of Jared Leto being the Joker?
The integrity of the story.
So he can be a totally different character.
So what happens when we make Joker pregnant and now he's bisexual?
But black?
But that's what I'm saying.
Black is not the same thing as that.
That's not black
at all.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's something wrong with making him a certain color, but what is the purpose? And then what are you going to say about it?
Because
is he just Black Joker, or is he Black Joker? And the reason why he's like this is because of this and this, that. What are we talking about right now? Is this Batman still?
Oh, I get what you're saying. Just like putting the whole black
story
thing in it
changes.
But
every single time they do that, they do that.
I agree with that. But I still think like there should be different styles of these characters.
I think they should have their Joker, and we should have our whatever his name is going to be.
But that's what I'm saying. There's going to be different versions of the Joker. So all those different versions of the Joker can only be white. That's what
No, it don't have to be white. If you're going to make him black, it's like just make it a black Joker. As simple as that. But that's not what they do.
Yeah, I agree with that part.
Saying.
Where
there's no way to
they're
justify
making it a systematic oppression Joker.
And now this is fucking the Django / Joker. Like,
but
what?
Isn't that what the Joker's about?
What?
He's about the haves and the have-nots. That's literally what Joker is.
No, Joker is about fucking chaos. He's
about chaos because of a system that fucking created him. That's exactly what he fights against. He's like, money's nothing. What is money?
I'm
He creates chaos because of the
Joker.
systematic. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, that's what. So I agree.
You're not changing. Like, we're not changing the integrity of. We're not changing the story. You're not changing the integrity of the character. You're not changing the character. You're changing the character's skin. That's it.
If they would do it like that, great. But I think that's idealistic. I don't think that's what they do.
There should be a Spanish Joker. There should be a fucking black Joker.
A Chinese Joker.
There should be
Japanese Joker.
I like how they a Japanese gangster Joker. There should be a mobster Joker.
But that's like one.
But that's the thing. So here's my another reason why I don't feel, because I just feel like Joker's not some black nigga shit. I don't think that's some black nigga shit. I don't think Superman is some black nigga shit either.
I think
Superman is the strongest nigga in the entire universe, and his arch nemesis is a smart human being. Punch this nigga, bro. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
See, and like, but that's the thing.
Like,
I think that's a key point right there, is that Superman is from the sun. Can no white person come from the sun? These niggas can't even stand in the sun in normal life. Like, yes, the story would fucking change because this is the realest shit. Ain't no nigga with all that power just letting some fucking dork talk to him like that.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like, Superman would make more fucking sense if he was fucking black. He would. The story would be 100 times better if he was true to a nigga.
I feel like it's very hard.
Joker would make more sense if he was going against Batman, because Batman's fucking white supremacy.
It would be different. No nigga on this planet painting his face with a clown face.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why there's different versions
interpolations
of that character.
Type of villain. Like, I can see a dope ass villain like Joker idealistics. Yeah. And just our version. Just that's him. Yeah. I would rather have
But even if we had our own, I would like to see a white Spawn.
No,
a different version of a Spawn.
I'm good.
They're
all their characters.
They're characters. In my fucking eye. Nigga, you want to see a white Spawn, bro.
There is a white Spawn. His name is Freddy Krueger.
Yo, stop it, bro. Stop it. This nigga, hold on. I just want to go back on the footage, my nigga. I just want to go back on the footage. I want y'all to look at this nigga SJ's face when he says, I want a white Spawn.
He lying.
What I'm basically saying is, I would like to see
variety.
Yeah, y'all fucking me up.
This nigga.
I like to see.
You know a nigga lying when he starts stutter.
Oh shit! But I'm basically saying, like, a lot of these characters can be interpolated into different, like,
can we
settings.
interpolate?
And that's cool to me.
I agree.
Jamie Foxx being Mr. Freeze wasn't cool.
He wasn't Mr. Freeze.
Wasn't he?
He was Electro.
No, he was
Electro. Oh, is he Electro guy?
Yeah. Can we see a white slave movie?
That was cool.
That's what I'm saying.
That was cool, but
just different
but
versions.
That's how they did
of
it. I
all
like how Spider-Man kind of did that. They do like different universes where, like, in this time, this person becomes this person.
It's the multiverse.
I really don't fuck with time shit because I feel like it's messy. It's sloppy
shit.
writing. It's like, oh, I can't think of nothing, so let's just put this in another universe. Like, whatever. But I don't know.
When I was watching that multiverse shit on the plane, I was getting a headache.
Yeah, it's like I just feel like it's a lot of games, movies, fantasy movies, cartoons, whatever, do this when it's like the writer puts himself in a bad place. And it's like, where the fuck do we do? How do we come back from this? How do we get an emotional feeling? Oh, I know. Let's bring back that motherfucker that died 20 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Well, I pressed this button on the time machine and now he's back. So then nobody ever fucking dies. He just fucking cheapened your whole plot. I'm sorry. I'm annoying when it comes to writing. Like, I swear to God, like, my shorty hates watching movies with me. I can't help it. If I see some lazy ass fucking writing, it just blows my mind. Like, I was like, bro, don't feed me. I'm not 5. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, no. If we're gonna do superhero
I'll
shit,
stop watching it.
Yeah,
I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah,
that's funny. Are we being, like, biased now? Because it's like, I'm thinking about the Spawn comment, right? And, like, me,
if they turn any black superhero white, you would be tight. And you don't even...
No.
My nigga! If Black Panther was white...
He'll be White Panther.
White Panther.
And he'll be Black Panther's friend. What's wrong with that?
That nigga's not gonna
It'll be like War Machine and Iron Man.
Not Black Panther, because
like War Machine and Iron Man. Our culture, so and they like, you get what I'm saying, doing
you know do you know that Iron Man was originally black?
No, I didn't know that.
No,
and then niggas was so mad about it.
But did you know the X-Men were originally, they're based off of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
That's a theory.
Yeah, that's like a theory.
But I mean, if you really think about a lot of these stories, they make more sense when the character is a different character.
Hold on.
But I also think
what?
I also think that we have our own history and we have our own culture that we can tell stories about. We don't fucking need these retold stories.
Yeah.
We as Caribbean Americans, as Black Americans, we have stories. We have Anansi and the Spider. Like there's so many stories that already exist within our culture that stop being told because we want to be a part of these stories.
Yeah.
Like we can retell our stories. You know how fucking scary some of these fucking Caribbean and old folk Southern stories are?
Right.
Like tell those stories.
Yeah.
I don't care about being a part of fucking DC and Marvel. Those worlds already exist. Let's build our own.
Type in balls.
Right.
My fault.
Nah, it's okay. I was just saying like.
Nah, I agree with you.
We have our own stories. Like we don't need, I feel like inclusivity's cheap. Inclusivity's cheap.
Yeah.
It's appeasement.
Exactly.
And like you said, it changes the integrity of a story. A whole bunch of other shit got to change. We're already familiar with this storyline and now you're going to go and change it.
Exactly.
They did Miles Morales justice. I really like him. I really like his Spider-Man, but it doesn't always go that smoothly.
It doesn't. That's why I say like the two that I feel like.
But we have our own stories.
Get them black. Get them black. Get them black. Get them black. Money. Fuck them up. I played. Get them right. Tighten up. Get right. Get them black. Tighten up. Fuck them up. Get them right. Tighten up. Fuck them up. Get them black. Get them black.
Oh, what you know about this? Get it static? What you talking about? Eddie had the dreads, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know.
Like, fuck yeah. Static was the shit.
WB11 was the shit.
Nigga was
WB was the shit,
All right, ideas for new Black superheroes. Let's hear it.
I'll go first. You're gonna love this. Coon Man.
DeRay Jones is a 30-year-old exterminator who goes out to de-infest a house full of raccoons alone.
One day, when all his friends call out sick,
He ends up getting bitten by the magic coon, which transforms him into a vermin himself. What will DeRay do when he becomes the very thing he sought out to destroy? That's terrible. We have to do this. Oh no, we cannot greenlight that. Okay, let's just do a reboot. Of what? Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi? Yeah, Shang-Chi. Yeah, we are not doing that. We can't keep turning random characters black.
And why?
Because everybody's gonna get mad at black people like this is something we asked for. It'll start a race war.
Ass, bro. This is see? No, I'm not crazy, bro.
That's crazy you said that.
This is why I've been trying to tell you. Like, I've been saying this for so long, bro. Like, it gets... You know what made it... I'm telling you, I told you about this shit. You see this... Remember I told you in the beginning of the podcast, before The Last of Us even came out on HBO.
Yes.
I told you, I don't want to spoil it for people, because there's people that's watching that shit that has not played the game.
Okay.
But there's something to
even
be
more reason to know.
extremely mad about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it makes everybody wants to be included. Yes, right. I am 100% with inclusivity. I don't give a fuck if you want whatever you want.
Right.
There should be a superhero version of that for you. But at the same time, you can't do it a certain type of way. Right. It can't be, let's snuff out what already existed.
Include it.
And include it. Inclusivity does not mean X out.
Right.
erase and replace. That's
Right.
not, because all that does is bring up confrontation. And then you got people that
are fully invested
the
already.
one thing I loved about the nerd community growing up is they were so inclusive. Like
Yes.
we were all nerds together.
Yes,
There was
it-
never a war against
At all.
nerds. Now there is.
Really?
There is. There's people that's like, the nerds is like, oh my God, you're a social justice warrior. Oh my God, politics in my video game.
I do see that a lot with like anime nerds, like especially like with cosplay, black girls dressing up as white characters in cosplay. Oh, you can't play Hinata because you're black, and it's just like, we kill it regardless. Like, why does it matter? It's a character. It's a fictional
character.
fucking character.
But that's the point. Everybody needs to understand that we all like to escape on this nerdy ass planet.
Right.
And there's
We
room
need
for
that.
all of us.
Yeah.
There's room for all of us, but it has to be done a certain type of way.
Right.
Right.
It has to be done a
To
certain
make
type of way.
everybody okay, like to consider everybody, like it's okay.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
See what Tyler's talking about.
Make a black. Why can't have anything, man? No, don't clap. Hold on. How many fucking black cartoon characters is it on TV right now? I name 5. I'll give you time. It is none. It is none. They canceled Static Shock. Nobody remember Fillmore. Like, we don't got shit. The only other black character is this fucking weird ass. Oh no, they killed Chef off fucking South Park. It was like, why you make them black? Why can't
It's funny. It's funny, man.
Nah, I get it though, but then it's like once you get into the conversation, a lot of people also, I don't want to keep dragging this conversation on, but a lot of people also don't like, they be like outside the nerd community looking in.
Right.
Like, my nigga, think about how many people are mad about Little Mermaid being black. My nigga, how many of y'all people that are mad about it really fucking are Disney like fanatics or whatever? Like, you don't give
They're
a
not.
fuck.
They just mad because she's
You're
black.
just mad because they turned black.
Right.
So those people, eat a dick. I don't give a fuck. I'm talking about the people on the inside.
But people on the inside, it's like there's changing a character who lives in a certain environment, who is of a certain culture. She's a fucking fish.
Yeah.
She's a fish.
Yeah.
She could be fucking green.
Yeah.
Why does it matter that
It
she's
does not
black?
matter.
Do you get what I'm saying? That's like they're like, oh well, let's change Tiana White. Tiana's a Southern girl who grew up
Exactly.
in a certain environment. You can't
If the
change.
story has to do
and
with
that's
the
what you were saying.
culture,
Like if it's
cannot
related
work.
to a certain culture, then leave it alone. But somebody who's a fish or an alien, like who cares?
I like the point that Gina said before, and I think the moral of like this whole show and the conversation is we need to start making our own.
Yo, that ass.
Like we can't pitch these ideas to these big ass conglomerates and
it's not gonna
expecting
come
them.
out right.
It's not gonna come out right.
Yeah.
It's like telephone.
Everybody that's watching, time
Start
to
to create your own characters.
yeah, it's
Yo,
time to
that
do it
ass.
yourself. You know,
That ass.
and that's what I really got from this episode today.
Yeah.
Yo, if you're
I
gonna
like
make
this episode.
make us like, you know what I'm saying, like we could get some black sayings, just put some dreads in there. You know what I'm talking about? I want to see niggas dreads.
have you seen the TikToks where they reinterpolate characters, or even like there's a TikTok where she's like, I love how they just say that certain characters they black, like they said Kakashi Sensei's black. And
Yo,
I'm like,
yeah, that ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Usopp is
Usopp
black.
definitely black.
You get like there's certain characters. They're like,
just know.
fucking Darwin from Gumball.
Yeah, oh yeah.
he's black.
That ass. Piccolo is definitely
Piccolo's
black.
OD black.
OD black.
But they just were like, you know, some of the people in the nerd community acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It's just like we just need to create these stories ourselves.
Yeah, that ass.
Yeah.
Right. With that said, that's another episode of IC. Thanks for
Namaste,
tuning in.
guys.
Thanks for the email. Thanks for today's guests. We're gonna holler at y'all next week.
You dig.